What's going on, guys? As you can see here, today we're doing a little tier list ranking of the WWE genre, the wrestling category. Today we are specifically ranking all of the World Heavyweight Champions. Now, this is excluding, I guess, the current iteration of the World Heavyweight Championship, which has only been held by Seth Rollins as of the making of this video. So, Seth Rollins isn't going to be in here. Any of the legacy that it had before it came to the WWE isn't going to be featured here. It's mostly just going to be, guys that held the big gold World Heavyweight Championship. So without further ado, let's get right into this. First off, we got Randy Orton. We got the Viper, the Legend Killer. Now, I believe this was the first championship he ever won, which that run that he had at that time wasn't very good. He did win it a few more times after that. He might have been the last person to hold the World Heavyweight Championship too, if I'm not mistaken. It's either him or Daniel Bryan, but either way, he was a decent World Heavyweight Champion. I wouldn't put him as high as S tier. He isn't exactly one of the GOATs holding it, although I will put him up in A tier. He did have some solid runs with it. It definitely was the belt that probably looked the best on him. So we're going to keep him up in A tier. I think that's a solid ranking for Randy. Next up, we got Y2J, Chris Jericho, the Lionheart. Now, full disclosure, I'm probably going to get fried for this, but I've never been the biggest Chris Jericho fan. His work has never really stuck out for me. I did enjoy some of his heel work in, the late Ruthless Aggression era, early PG era, where, the whole calling everybody hypocrites and wearing the suit and saying, I'm the best in the world at what I do. And, the list thing was pretty good too. But anyways, we're not here to talk about whether I like or dislike these guys. It's solely based off of their championship runs. And Chris his world championship runs, at least with the World Heavyweight Championship, I mean, they've been all right. Like nothing's really stood out to me as overly great. Nothing overly terrible either. So for now, I'll put him in C tier. I might change that as we go along the ranking, but I'd say C tier is a pretty comfortable spot for Y2J. All right, now next up, we got the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. And listen, Mark Henry was never one of my favorite wrestlers, but his World Heavyweight Championship runs are pretty damn good, man. Like, honestly, he's a solid B tier. I'm even thinking about. I'll keep him in B for now, but his World Heavyweight Championship runs were probably some of the best runs of his career. So all props to Mark Henry's as a World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, really solid title holder. Next up, we got Daniel Bryan. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is him getting beat by Sheamus in that WrestleMania match that lasted like 2 seconds. But he did have some notable runs after that, although I always kind of saw him more as the WWE champion than the World Heavyweight. And once again, he had some decent runs with it, but I'm going to put him in C right next to Jericho. He doesn't really stand out to me as a World Heavyweight champion as much as he does a WWE champion. And, the first title reign that comes to mind that got ended in a 3-second squash match by Sheamus, now we're getting to the big guns. Now we're getting to the heavy hitters. We got the rated R superstar, my boy Edge. Straight up to S tier, dude. Straight up to S tier. I mean, are you going to argue with me here? Come on. Mr. Money in the Bank, bro, cashed in on The Undertaker, literally, broke everyone's heart at that. Like, if you were a kid, bro, in the Ruthless Aggression era, that shit broke your heart, man. Okay? This dude was the slimiest, scumbaggy heel of a World Heavyweight Champion, and he just always elevated that title. Like, sure, it did kind of switch hands a lot when he was the champion. Like, I don't think he had any too notable, I don't think any of his reigns were very long, but they were always notable. you remember when he was champion, because he did his work so well as a heel, you never wanted him to be champion, and he would always find a way to weasel in and get that World Heavyweight Championship. So I think he's one of the greatest in terms of World Heavyweight Championship holders. So S tier for my boy Edge. Big Show. Oh God, dude. um, nah, we're putting Big Show in F, dude. He's one of the most boring title holders, especially World Heavyweight Championship holders. So yeah, we got F for Big Show. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's gonna go in A. Mm, nah, well, yeah, we'll put him in A next to Randy. Yeah, I think that's solid. Sheamus, listen, I love Sheamus, but as a champion, as a world heavyweight champion, has not really done anything too notable. I'll put him in D just because I think the belt looks good on him, and I think he did some all right stuff with it. He's definitely not as bad as some other guys that are going to go down here, including the Big Show, but definitely on the lower end of title holders. Dude, Shawn Michaels is so frustrating, bro, because he literally got to hold that thing for like a month, like maybe 2 months. Dude, it was short as hell, man. And I get it. He was in his era where he was trying to put younger talent over, and he was in his whole like born again Christian, you know. But he could have held it for a little longer, man. I really think he could have. And I believe he won it in his feud with Triple H, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I think it was a Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I think he won the first not Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. He won the first Elimination Chamber for the belt. I mean, that's a big moment, man. That we're still doing Elimination Chambers 20 years down the line, and he was the guy to win the first one. And his championship reign was just like mediocre, man. Look, I love Shawn Michaels, but not the greatest championship run. So like, I hate to do it, man. I'll put you above Sheamus for sure, but there's not much to speak on when it comes to Shawn Michaels as world heavyweight champion. So sorry, dude. Oh, now we're really cooking, boys. The Animal, Batista. Once again, wasting no more time. I put him above Edge. Like that championship was made for Batista, dude. And when Triple H was just hogging that championship, Batista was the first dude to actually like beat him for it. Like that was a great storyline, great feud. The championship looks well on him. I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship goes with Batista like peanut butter and jelly, man. There's no debate. S tier. Speaking of no debate, speaking of no debate, let's just put him right back here. Great Khali. Listen, all you need to know about this dude's reign is just that picture of him holding it up when he first won it. The dude was holding it upside down. Okay, I mean, if that isn't poetry right there, exactly of how the great Khali was as champion, I don't know what else is. Nothing more to be said. F. Goldberg. Wasn't a big fan of Goldberg as a world heavyweight championship. I'm not a big Goldberg fan in general. He was kind of before my time. But once again, never really did anything notable with it. Yeah, D tier. Okay. All right, we're filling up the bottom rows here. Jack Swagger, absolute F. I mean, his character. Listen, I have a soft spot for Jack Swagger. I like his that whole American Patriot thing that he did with that one guy with the squirrel mustache. I forget his name, but that was a cool gimmick. I have a soft spot for Jack Swagger, but he lost all of his character when he became the world heavyweight champion. He just became this bland, like, I don't even know what he was trying to do, bro. His reign sucked. It was terrible. No, F tier. I'll put him above the Great Khali, but yeah, still F tier. CM Punk as a world heavyweight champion. Oh, dude. Dude. Similar to Edge. Not really similar to Edge. More similar to I guess Jeff Hardy, if you would want to compare them. Um, he never had a very long title reign. The times that he did hold the title, he did some great character work. He had some great storylines with people like Jeff Hardy. Did he hold it during the Straight Edge Society? I want to say that he held it when he had the whole Straight Edge Society gimmick, but I could be wrong with that. I might be wrong with that. But either way, him as World Heavyweight Champion, it was good. It was definitely above average. Like, he did some good freaking work with that. I'll put him right behind Mark Henry. He was a pretty good World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, bro, we got the game up next. Now, as much as you want to hate it, dude, he was a badass World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, that dude was like, he lived up to his name, the King of Kings, because if the World Heavyweight Championship was his crown, this dude was the King of Kings. Like, he absolutely dominated that championship for years and years until, Batista came through and kicked his ass for it. But yeah, Triple H, man, you got to put some respect on his name. We'll put him up there. We'll put him on the lower end of S because me personally, I don't really connect to it as much as I do with Edge and Batista, but he's definitely S tier, no doubt. Oof, Dolph Ziggler, man. I'm putting it in D tier just because, number one, his second reign, the failure of it wasn't really his fault. He got injured. And number two, that cash in was like the greatest cash in of all time. But besides, his initial cash in to get the championship, I mean, they never really did anything with the guy. So, yeah, sorry, dude. You're gonna go in D. I'll put you like right here. I'll put you in mid tier D, but you're still D. Sorry. Oh, next up we got Redacted. Redacted was a pretty good World Heavyweight Champion, so we'll put him in C. We'll keep him in C. We'll keep it there. Christian, I feel like, was a kind of an underrated World Heavyweight Champion, but I don't think he's up there with the greats, quite honestly. I would put him in the top of C tier. Underrated, but not insanely underrated. John Cena. That's a weird one because obviously he's one of the GOATs. Obviously, like, when it comes to world titles, he's like the poster boy of world title winners. He's definitely more of a WWE championship type of guy. I mean, the freaking, the spinner belt that was around this whole era was made from him. It was based off of his character. That being said, though, I mean, dude went hard when he got the World Heavyweight Championship. Definitely, just like, who did I say? I said somebody else was more of a WWE Daniel Bryan. Kind of like Daniel Bryan, he is more of a WWE championship guy, but I'll still put him in B. I'll put CM Punk at no, that's good right there. John Cena's a low B for World Heavyweight Champion. It's still a solid champion though. Damn, Rey Mysterio, bro. Rey Mysterio is not getting high in this one. I'll be honest with you, man. He's just not like a champion type of guy. He's like as great. I mean, he's one of the GOATs. Like, I don't mean it like that. I probably said that wrong, but he's not. He's better as like the little guy trying to prevail. He's not great as like the guy you're trying to beat, if that makes sense. So unfortunately, I'm gonna put him in D tier, right ahead of Goldberg. Not my favorite, but I'm still happy he's here. A for effort. Well, D for effort technically, but we'll give him that. Jeff Hardy, bro, that's my GOAT, bro. If you don't know, Jeff Hardy's my favorite wrestler of all time. If this was just based on just how much I like the wrestler alone, he'd be on the top. He'd be triple S tier, dude. I love Jeff Hardy. In regards to him as a world heavyweight champion, that's a different story. I did enjoy his title runs. I think the matches that he had as world heavyweight champion, whether he was fighting for them or defending them or so be it, I think they were better than his WWE championship. matches. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd say there's a lot more memorable ones. That being said, though, he never really had a long, prosperous reign with either title. Unfortunately, either world championship, um, which really sucks. I still am kind of bitter about that. So just based off objectivity, I'll probably put him right above Cena. Because another thing is that belt looks pretty dope on him. The WWE Championship looks better on Jeff Hardy, but the World Heavyweight Championship looked pretty cool on him too. So I'll put him right above Cena. I'd say like mid B tier is pretty objective because I want to put him higher, but from an objective ranking, I'd say that's pretty fair. Del Rio, as much shit as he gets nowadays, he was a pretty cool champion, man. He really was. I'll put him at the bottom of D tier because I don't think he ever really fully reached his full potential. But dude was pretty slick as a champion. Not gonna lie. Undertaker. We'll put Undertaker at the top of B tier. He had some good titles, but Undertaker's not really a title type of wrestler. His character kind of transcends beyond that. But he still gets top of B. King Booker is one of the most underrated world heavyweight champions ever. I think King Booker is freaking great. His character run during that time. So I'll put dude bottom. You know what? Nah, I'm sorry. I gotta put Undertaker bottom of A, Booker T top of B because Undertaker had some good runs as world heavyweight champion. Whereas King Booker, I feel like his runs were a lot more limited. He only had that gimmick for like less than a year. It wasn't fleshed out enough to be put in A tier. And I think Kane's like the most underrated world heavyweight champion of them all, man. Like I never hear him get the credit that he deserves. So I'll put him right next to Undertaker. I'll put him below Undertaker, but I'll still put him in A tier, man. He was pretty good. So yeah, that's what we got, boys. We got Batista, Edge, and Triple H and S. Randy, Kurt, Undertaker, and Kane in A. King Booker, Mark Henry, CM Punk, Jeff Hardy, John Cena, and Del Rio in B. Christian, Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, and Redacted in C. Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, and Goldberg in D. And Big Show, Swagger, and Cully in F. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. More wrestling content coming out soon. And yeah, peace.